Hello everyone, welcome to another week in my garden. Caught us in a sunny patch at the moment. We've had a little bit of rain today, but it's sunny now, so I've been out picking a few more of the French climbing beans. Done very well, very pleased with them. My wife tells me they're cooking excellent as well, they hold the colour well, so we'll be doing these again. A few in the trug, a few raspberries there that we just picked while we was down here. I don't know if you can see, but there's still loads and loads still to come. We'll give it 2 days and then we'll come and pick again, I think. We've also got the dwarf ones that we put in because I've never done this variety before, just in case. Now they're actually coming as well, so got a lot of French beans at the moment, but it's immaterial because we'll blanch them, get them frozen, and we'll enjoy them through the winter. Right, now we just moved down the garden. Now there's 1 or 2 other jobs we need to look at. Right, we're just down at the about halfway down the garden now. On the new rotation, this is where the potatoes are, will be onions next year. Now I have ordered some overwinter onions, so I'm preparing the ground. I've spread the compost on top out the compost bins, and it's just a case now of digging it in. But again, it's too hot at the moment. I'm certainly not going to dig that in today. But that will be dug in and prepared, ready for next year's onions. This is part of the rotation. Now the tomatoes out here in the garden, as you can see, with 30 plants, and there's about the same on every one, so there will be a glut of these outdoor ones. These are the ones we're going to use for cooking more than anything, and so these will be dried or frozen and then stored for the winter use. But they're doing rather well. They had a bad start with the cold weather, and now I've stopped them all at maybe 5 trusses. I don't want them any bigger, they'll just fall over. I've had to put extra sticks in because of this wind, but they seem to be holding well, and as you can see there'll be quite a few turn. It'll be a glut actually, I think. They're all going to come together, but we'll cope with that as and when. While we're down here, we're right down at the bottom now, bottom of the garden. Those of you who've been with me for a bit can remember the invasion of the baby rabbits, and they ate all our squashes and pumpkins and everything. Well, this is the second set of the butternut squash, and especially for George, this is how far we've got on with them. We started a bit late with because of the rabbits, but they'll make it, I'm sure they will. As you can, they are there, look. You see, they'll be fine, and if we have a long summer this year, we'll definitely get them in. It's not so much as growing the squash, it's getting them to ripen, so the sooner we get them there and get some sun on them, let them sunbathe for a little bit to ripen, then they'll be fine. Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about, then we're going to put the onions on the strings ready for storage through the winter. Let's finish up with something like these. Now a few reds that I put on. I put these on ready just to show you what they're like, and then we'll show you how to do them. You've grown your onions, you've harvested them, dried them into this sort of stage, and now we need to change them to something like this, ready for storing. Now these small red ones here, perfectly good onions, but what I'm not going to string those. I'll clean them up and then send them up to the house and we'll use those. This one, I'm rejecting that one because it's what you call a thicknet. It tried to flower when it was in the ground. There's still a good onion, but it doesn't store very well. It's clean it up and send it up, perfectly alright for immediate use. This one, when I was cleaning this one, the stem felt a bit wet, so that one will leave that one to dry out a bit, or we'll send that up to the house. Likewise, there's a brown one here, look, that's too thick in the neck, so again send it up to the house. That one, that's got a bit of rot on it there, look, so that is definitely not going in. Be very, very careful what you store, and then you'll get them through until well into next year. I will just hang them in the shed when I'm done. First thing we do is cut the roots off. You can pull them off, but I like to cut them off, look. And then just go round. This one's nearly done, look. In fact it is done. Don't take too much off. This one was a really, really dirty onion, so I had to take a lot off. It looks a bit white at the moment, but it'll soon brown off once it gets onto the string drying. So let's do this one, shall we? First thing I do, I just pull through a few times. If I feel any damp or anything that I don't like, I reject it, and it saves me cleaning it. Just take these off like this, look, so we can see what we're doing. Take the roots off. You see how this is all open? This needs to come off. Thing is, don't go too deep, because these are the protection that the onions naturally got. That's fine there. Just take that one off, look. It's quite a job. It's a long job cleaning them. Whatever you do, try not to scratch them. If you scratch them, you'll let the rots in and you'll have lots of trouble with it. So that's how you do it. No, just take those off. Just with your fingers, lightly with your nails, don't scratch them. Just take that piece off. And there, look, we'll just take that off, clean it. I rubbed them with my hands. I'm also feeling for any rot while I'm rubbing them around. And that one's ready. Take that bit of dirt off. That one's now ready to go on the line. Let's do this one, it's not so bad. Just pull them through. We will cut these tops off when we string them, and I'll show you how to do that. We're making sure that they're nice and clean and no dirt on them for storage. They will naturally skin off anyway as they're storing, so just clean them. Takes a long time to do if you've got a big batch. Now my onion crop this year wasn't the best in the world, but we'll store what we've got and hope for a better crop next time. Here you are, look. Rub it round. I can feel that that's a good onion now, and pop in there. So when you've got this many, I don't know if you can see them, what I've done, as I've done them, I grade them so they're all nearly the same size, so it makes life easier for when we start stringing them. When you get towards the end and you've got all sorts of sizes left, try and start with large at the bottom and build to small at the top. Right, the string I use is cord. Actually, it's not string, it's cord. In the old days you used to use raffia and all sorts to do it, but now I use this cord. It won't give up, and it's cheap as chips anyway. It's easily available. I do it in a string of 4, and then I tie a knot in the top, trim it for tidy, and then give it a good pull, and then I hook that up there on a 2 like that, so the knot's right at the top and coming down, you see. So what we do then to start off, quite simple. We make a loop like that, make sure it's tidy like that. Then we take the first onion, which is a large one, pop it through, take it quite high, and then tighten it all up nicely like that. So there you are, that's the base. If you always use a good one at the bottom, because if you put a big one at the top, the cook will always want that one first, so put it at the bottom, you have to wait. Put that off, that's not going nowhere. We start with the biggest that we can see in the pot, which is the this one I think. Open it up for 2 either side and push through and put him on the side like that, and there's the tail. Now don't be tempted to go over the top, go under the onion, up and then through one of the strings like that, and just pull down so it's nice and tight. That's the beginning. You take the tail off. Careful with the scissors, you don't bruise the other onions you're doing. These are quite big, so we'll only use 3s on the way round. Again, we're going to open it so we're not in the same one as the last one. I'm going to put the onion in and balance it nicely. Get it if it's too much so it sits nicely. In fact, we might do them in 4 and go under, up and through one of the strings, you see. So it's beginning. Take the long tail off, we don't want that. And the next, again, don't go through the same 2, go through a different 2 and put that in there like that. Look, you can see what's happening. And then under, up and through one like that. Then just tighten it down a little bit. We take all this off, because if you get too much in there and it does get a bit damp, it's going to. Right, now this one will be the 4th one to make that up. So same again, don't go through the same one, go through a different one, not every time. Now with this being the 4th, you press it down well. We don't go underneath this time, we go round all the strings, and then under the onion and up. And that, if you can see, hold your string tight again for the next set. We'll just take that off, look. So there you go, look, that's how we start. I think you can see where the next ones are going to go on those gaps as we build now. So again, take any mess off, through any 2 this time because we're starting from scratch. Through, balance your onion nicely at the side, and then go under and through one, you see, and then just tighten down. Take the tail off. That's another one done. Same again, a different 2, so we go through that one. I can do it better quick, but that one and that one, say. So we go through there, balance the onion out so it's nice and round on the pack, you see. Lift him up, under, over, and then through one and tighten. And you can see the pattern coming now. So same again, cut the tail off. This one. So here we go, look. We'll split those to those 2 because we haven't been through there. Balance it into the and down, under the onion, up and through one, you see. And then cut off. You can see it coming now. Now this is the 4th one we're going to put on. Remember that we don't, so we'll go through those 2 because we haven't used those. Press them down, get the onion balanced. Remember this time we go round the top, then under, up, then push down, make sure the onion seats nice like that, and then cut that tail off there. You can see it's beginning now. I'll just finish this one off. There's only 2 more layers to put on and that'll be enough. So I'll do it as I normally do them so you can see. The chickens are enjoying the sunshine today. We have another batch of onions still in the garden yet. Well, they're still laid on the garden sunbathing, so I'll fetch those up and do exactly the same when they're dried out. This is the last one on, nuts are around the top and then under the onion to make it nice. Now if you notice, we've gone from 4 to this one. But we're getting a bit tighter on there, so we'll have to clean another onion on it. It will be fine. Same again. Keep building. Underneath. Now as you're getting higher, try not to push your onions too far down, else you'll get them too tight on. But they'll be fine. Underneath, look, and then through one and cut. Same again, through we go, under and through. This should be about the last line now, so if you just balance it, I'll just put one more in for you. Again, just balance them out a bit. And this is the top one, so we go round the top, then under, and then through, lock them all down tight. And that's how I string my onions. It goes on and on. We'll just keep going. I wouldn't put many more than one more layer on there. And then for storage wise, down the garden, I just hang them in the shed, and then periodically I just give them a spin. So if I see anything that doesn't look right, I pop in and cut them out. You could do this size if you want on them. You soon make a nice string even with the small ones. But that's the way I do it, and they store well. This one will go on there, look, you see, and we'll just finish it off. Let's do it before we say that's enough. And pull that in a bit like that, round the top lot, and then cut off. There you are. You could actually put so many red ones in and so many brown ones in to make it look different, but knowing the cook, she'll come and take all the red ones first, so that's why I put the red ones on a separate string for her. But that's how you store your onions. Do have a go, take your time, remember to split your string to 4 and you'll find it a lot easier. It lets the air get through into the onions as well, so it keeps them nice. So they'll be nice and dry and hanging in. The other thing I find that once they're all hung in the shed, you don't get no flies in the shed. It keeps flies out. I've got some other little tasks to do, so I'll go and get on. I'll finish these and hello again. Well, that's the first lot of onions through. We made 4 good strings of them. The only thing to watch when you're doing them, if you get these sort of numbers on your string, they're very, very heavy, so that's why it's best to use cord and use 4, because there's quite a weight in these. 2 more strings still sunbathing down the garden. They're a bit late, those. It doesn't matter if they're out in the sunshine, they love the sunshine. It'll out ripen them a bit anyway. We'll keep them in the shed and then take them up to the house one at a time and keep them in the freezer room. Hello, Thursday today, windy Thursday. It really is blustering about today, and it's we had some rain in the night, so I'm well pleased. Things are looking good in the garden. I'm just harvesting these dwarf French beans. I've nearly finished the line. So here we go, look, you can see all the beans. There's a lot of them. With the climbing ones, we'll have a good year's supply of French beans. Yeah, a bit small at the top of this one, look, so we'll leave those. You don't want these too big anyway. There's a handful. I was in the supermarket this morning and about that handful was nearly £1, so there's a lot of hands full in there. Those people that do a gardening on a budget, if you think that both sets of seed for these beans and the climbers didn't come to £3, and you can see the result in the picking. My wife tells me when she blanches them ready for freezing that they're keeping the colour very well, so they're very presentable when they're frozen. So I'm well pleased with these. We'll probably do both again next year. I've ordered some overwintering onions and I've prepared the bed, so I'll just show you how far I've got and I'll tell you what I've done to it, and then I'll come back and finish the beans. Right, this is the bed I've prepared for the overwintering onions. It will be the onion bed on next year's plan. I've already checked in the shed and it's in the right place. I've just forked it over quite deep. I put 8 barrel load of compost on and mixed it with the fork as I forked it. I put a little dressing of lime. As I plant them and get them settled, I'll probably just top dress with some of those chicken pellets. They're high potassium and that's what we want for the onions in this bed. So as soon as they arrive, we'll have them straight in and the bed will be ready. Finished the beans. This is the first pick off those dwarf French. There's quite a few there, and unlike the supermarket ones that have travelled halfway around the world, these have travelled up the garden, but it was uphill. Hello there, Friday again today. It's been a beautiful week this week. I hope you're enjoying the Olympics. Just hope nobody else gets injured, and good luck to those that have been injured. Hope they get better soon. Right, so this morning I'm just repotting up some lily of the valley into some pots so we can put them around the house, so they'll, in the spring when they flower, you get that nice scent and everything. They weren't too happy where they were, as you can see, so they wanted moving anyway. Put some in pots, and then what I got left I'll put back into a bed, a shady bed somewhere for them, so we can still enjoy them outside. They wanted splitting anyway, as you can see they were ready. Right, so here's your plant. Trying to ignore the top a little bit because that will die off anyway. Now there's your next plant is there, look. Can you see them, those little bits? So don't lose those, whatever you do. They're actually called pips. I don't know why they're called pips, but they're called pips. So they'll be next year's plants as well. So we're going to pop them in like that. The compost is leaf mould, a little bit of peat free in there, not a lot. Soil and sand, horticultural sand, so it's really open so it drains well. Remember, these are going to be sat in the winter. So about ½ inch below the surface, look, no more. And just like we did with the prims, just keep messing them until you get them off. Watch out for the pips and put those in as well. These tops will disappear, so don't worry about those. There you are. We'll do a good pot full, so it looks nice up there. They'll really enjoy these. So I've got 2 pots to do. Don't need terracotta pots just for the job there. I think I want 2 more at least in there. So look, yeah, there's one, and there's your pip. Can you see it? So put 1 more in. Yeah, we'll put 2 in. There's 2 come together, so we'll put them together. Now we just try and hold them together while you do it, and then there's no serious feeds in the compost, no bone meal or anything just put in, because the leaf mould will do the job for us. And it's my own leaf mould what I put in the compost, spare compost bin, and last year, and it's rotted down very well. While I'm doing it, you can see that I've put the onions out today so they can have a bit of a sunbathe. The more sun you get on them, the better. Won't do them any harm. I just have to keep my eye on the weather, because if the weather turns, I'll have to go and pop them in back in the shed. Don't want them wet. The others are over here on this bench drying out. again, if the weather breaks, I'll have to just pop them in the shed. I don't want them wet now I've got them this far. That will make 2 more strings. The proper word for it is actually ropes of onions, but we'll call them strings. So there you are, look, a little pot. I can't bang it because it's solid. A pot full of lily of the valley that will be flowering beautifully next year with all new foliage, so I'm pleased with that. If I just show you how I start, if you can see that there's there's a hole in the side of these pots, not in the bottom, which is good, but I've had to put plenty of crock in there just to stop the compost filling that hole up and stopping the drainage. But they weren't hugely expensive, but we do like the shape. So let's just do this one. This strain, Lily of the Valley, are actually a plant that are native to Great Britain, which is a bit unusual in these days where plants move around the world. I think that will be enough in that pot. I don't want to put too many in. Now these will go back. I'll do the same again. I'll split them down a little bit to clumps like that, and then I shall replant these together, but in a nice shady part of the garden, perhaps a place where it gets a bit of sun in the morning. There we'll let them come off naturally, so all the goodness that's in the leaf goes back into that little pip, as they call it. Right, there you are, there's the 2 pots. I will water them before I take them up, so that I'll perhaps leave them down here for a day or 2 just to settle, and then take them up to the house. Now next week we'll be changing the grease bands on the fruit trees. Need to get that done before the codling moth etc starts to want to climb the tree to lay eggs for winter or hibernate. The aphid mothers will soon be coming down the stems to hibernate in the soil, so we need to catch those on the grease band. So we'll do that next week. We'll show you what they've caught on this year's grease bands as well. That'll be interesting. Let's say Friday, I've had a good week. Season's moving on. Everything's coming together now. We're doing quite a bit of digging as well, so I'll do a little one on the different types of digging that you need to know and do. So that'll be about it for this week. So just a word before we go, those people who have just subscribed to me, I thank you very, very much for subscribing. I do appreciate it. So enjoy your Olympics, don't get too much sun, don't forget your garden, and I'll see you next week. Bye now.